This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted to be joined in a Starbucks with Gareth A Davies. We are here we had the press conference today of Zhilei Zhang versus Joe Joyce. How are we feeling, mate? How's things been? How are we feeling about going into this one?
I'm very good, thank you. I've just recorded the first episode, by the way, of Inside the Ropes for Boxing Social. First episode of a new series of 12 after Fight Club, which I know you're a big fan of. That series is now over, and now I'm wandering at press conferences, interviewing everyone for Inside the Ropes, which is going to be an on-the-move podcast with characters, culture from inside boxing. I had a great time with them today. I thought Frank Warren, Zhilei Zhang, and Joe Joyce did a fantastic. Everyone rinsed them today. By the way, if you can hear that noise in the background, we're here at Brent Civic Centre. Go on, angle it up. You see that roof up there? That is the rain making that surround sound. There are dozens of people gathered outside, not wanting to walk outside in the rain at the moment. So as a result, I agreed to do an interview with Lewis, otherwise I'd have been out of here. But no, I'll always do an interview with you. I'm only kidding. It's very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did one thing I did want to touch on, which was something about you. You've always I was saying you can see the speaking Chinese with Zhilei Zhang. How sort of good was that for you? And showing the talent that you've got, mate.
The truth is, it was highly embarrassing because I studied Chinese for a year while I was living in Beijing, and I had a tutor for 9 hours a week, and I used to speak fairly decent Chinese. I was illiterate, I couldn't read or write, but I was able to speak it. And I could order meals, direct taxi drivers, look in the fridge in a restaurant, in a place back and beyond, and order food in a little xiao restaurant, little restaurant, local village restaurant. And my Chinese was absolutely buhao, not good today, buhao. And I speak with a Beijing hua, because there's a twang to the Beijing accent. It's like the Cockneys in London, and it's a real it's like growling dogs, they call it. And Zhang was very magnanimous with my crappy Chinese today, but no, it's fun. I really like the guy. He's great fun. He takes his job seriously. He's really convinced he's going to stop Joe Joyce again, by the way. He's got fitter, he's got leaner. I wonder whether he's coming in too light this time, and instead of being big and heavy, and this time Joe's coming in heavier, taking him more seriously, or not taking him lightly. I got a feeling that Joe's going to reverse it this time around. But it was fun to speak to Zhang, yeah.
One thing I did want to say, do you feel like now, especially at the world level, Saturday night is do or die for Joe Joyce?
Do or die for both of them in a way. Zhang's coming up 40. Joe's just celebrated his 38th birthday. It's a long road back for either man if they lose for that world title shot. Usyk's lining up his mandatories. I think IBF Hrgovic is next. Then it's probably Fury. March, April next year, maybe March. So if you lose, you've got the other guy chasing a WBO title, say, I don't know, could that be the summer of next year? And then you've got to work your way back in. So it could be 2 years away for the loser to fight for a world title again. So Joe Joyce needs to win. Zhang needs to win again. It's how Joe Joyce wins. He needs to look convincing, really convincing. But I think this time he'll be a little bit more elusive. He'll take more of a step back. He won't just plough forward the whole time. He must start quicker. He's got to establish a rhythm and timing in this fight. He didn't have any in the last fight, if you recall. And Zhang just dominated with angles and the left hand and kind of got his footwork right. Joe came in straight lines. He's got to start fast, create more angles for his hands by using his feet, and take Zhang into the later rounds. there was one chink of light in that first fight, was that in the 5th round, Zhang seemed to tire a little bit, or he took the round off maybe. But late, I think Joyce can stop Zhang late in this fight.
Joe Joyce in the first fight came in noticeably a lot lighter, lost a lot of weight. He now seems to have put that weight back on. He wants to come in heavier. How much more of a benefit do you think that could be in this fight?
Oh, I think being heavier and bigger is better for him. He's got a great engine anyway. Trains hellishly. I think in some ways you might say he wants to be bigger because he can withstand more, but I think he will be more dangerous if he's landing and he's bigger. We know what he's capable of. He's got to watch the southpaw angles that Zhang creates. Zhang truly believes that he's going to go in there and sneakily create angles and beat him up again. He says he's going to do it even quicker this time. I'm not sure about that. I think Joe Joyce overlooked him a little bit the first time. And I think they thought they could just plough through Zhang and they'd exhaust him, but they forgot that he's at the highest level as an amateur boxer. Both Olympians, both medalists, remember. You don't get Olympic medals by not being a brilliant amateur boxer. So in many ways, Zhang, I think, will do similar things, but Joe Joyce is the one who's got to and will make all the adjustments.
Absolutely. Moving on from not the Saturday in England action, but Saturday action going on in Orlando, Florida. We were dealt with the news that Conor Benn will return. What do you make of this return? We'll go on sort of later, but what do you make of the return of Conor Benn on Saturday night?
Well, they've gone a roundabout way of doing it. They're obviously trying to get him back at work. They haven't done the due process completely. They haven't done the in the system stuff, the due process, the strict liability stuff. He's not banned at the moment. He's not suspended. There is an appeal in against a decision of sporting resolutions, the tribunal, and that's in because the Boxing Board of Control and UKAD don't want boxers to be able to use jurisdiction when they've tested positive for something, jurisdiction outside UKAD testing, which is what this was, of course. But we still haven't cleared up the metabolites in his system, that process. Hopefully that'll get done at some point. But I think they're just trying to get him out to work. Do I agree with it? Morally and ethically, no, I don't. But I understand that they're getting around this on a technicality right now. He's still proclaiming his innocence, and the doctor who studied those metabolites has said quite categorically to me personally, as well as on records, and I've chatted to the doctor, that those metabolites are from food, not a pill. So, just do the process. And at some point, the Boxing Board of Control may get a ban, or UKAD may ban him for a couple of years in the UK, but it doesn't look like he's going to box with a British licence. We don't have a world governing body, so they're able to get around it, they can circumvent it, and that's what they've done.
I was literally just about to say that what you mentioned there about the ethics with it, and it's morally wrong. I know boxing doesn't really, morals ain't always at the forefront when it comes to boxing, but does it leave a sour taste in the mouth when you know that sort of Robert Smith came out earlier today, said that he shouldn't be boxing. So does it sort of leave a bad taste in the mouth with it being sort of ethically and morally sort of wrong in a way where there's still sort of questions?
Well, the only reason it's ethically and morally wrong is boxing is the Wild West. It doesn't have a world governing body. It's a raw, brutal, visceral sport where people can get damaged irreparably or get killed. You can be legally killed in the ring. And the only reason why there's a drug testing system is you cannot physically enhance your body with those banned substances because there are rules set and guidelines given and lines drawn where you are what you are physically. You can train yourself, but you can't take performance-enhancing substances in your attempt to render another man or woman unconscious. It's such a dangerous sport, and in that sense it's morally reprehensible or ethically reprehensible. To want to work, to want to fight isn't. And if there are bylaws and byways and circumvention methods to do it, people will do it. And that's what's happened here. But he's not suspended, he's not banned, and they haven't been able to prove that legally to suspend him or ban him. He hasn't worked for 17 months, something like that, and the guy needs to earn money, and Eddie Hearn's come out and said that. It's a very complicated situation. I want the guy to do well. I want him to come back, but I do want the due process at some point, like everyone else does in boxing.
Absolutely, definitely. Gareth, I wanted to say thank you for taking time to speak to me. I know you've been very, very busy today, so I do appreciate you taking time to speak to me. So, as we finish off, can we get a goodbye in Chinese?
We can even get... Yeah, we can. I was saying I was going to vape, but I'm not going to actually. We're indoors in the Brent Civic Centre. 再见啊. 再见.
Thank you, Gareth. All the best, and see you this week, mate. Thank you. Cheers.